Good afternoon, everybody. This is Pamela checking in on a video vlog back to her normal self, as it were, compared to the fun times I had last night. I wanted to get on here and talk about a couple of things here on this platform. I'm not sharing any news links. I'm going to do a straight up talk. I know we're all sick of this COVID-19 bullshit. Um, People are going through a lot of shit right now. A lot of my friends have purged their friendship roles on Facebook due to uh, Bernie Sanders humpers and Trump humpers, and those who have pissed on a lady named Linda Tripp. That's the first thing I want to talk about here today. Linda Tripp was the whistleblower that outed Clinton in the Monica Lewinsky sex scandal that rocked the White House. A lot of people have heard today that Linda Tripp has passed away at the age of 70 due to pancreatic cancer. And first off, I want to say to her daughter and her family, I'm sorry for the loss. Nobody should die of cancer at any age. It's just how I feel about it. As I have lost some family members to different kinds of cancer, but cancer's cancer. Linda Tripp has passed away at the age of 70 due to pancreatic cancer. And it was the same disease that took Patrick Swayze, and it was the same disease that took Dave Schwartz from the Weather Channel. Cancer doesn't discriminate. But anyway, now that I've gotten the condolences out of the way, I could really lay something down here that I don't want to have to lay down, but I'm going to spill it out. A young daughter just lost her mother to cancer, and there are people on the platforms that are seeking joy from a woman's death. You know, it makes me sick. And I vented about it on Facebook in the news piece that a former friend had shared with the populace on Facebook. And people were saying that Linda Tripp looked like a guy and that it couldn't happen to a nicer person. You know, and it makes me sad. And I said, you know, some of the comments on here are pretty pathetic. But then again, people who make snide comments and have joy about a person's death must be Trump supporters. You know, and I said, besides, some of you are just mad that she outed Bill Clinton for banging a woman that he had no business messing around with in the first place. And I said, at least I know what commitment is. You know, a commitment is to be in a loving, committed relationship. You're married to one guy and one guy only. And if you ever think about stepping out on your person that you're committed to, you get out that door and you keep walking. And I'm going to mention this again. My father, rest his soul, was one of those guys that would rent nudie movies to get his libido up. And at that time, you know, video machines were the in thing, and you had people selling porno movies at some of these big shops, and he had his own little stash of them. And being a young person at that time, I saw porno movies as sort of a disloyalty to my mother. And I flat out told my dad, I said, I hope you're not thinking about walking out on my mom for another woman. And he's like, well, what brought this on? And I said, well, you're watching porn movies for one thing. I just think you're being disloyal to my mother. If you're thinking about leaving my mom, you get out that door and you keep going. And he says, well, what's this all about? And I said, I just believe in a good commitment. That's all, Dad. You shouldn't have to look at other things to get your libido up. You know, I'm just afraid you're going to walk out on my mom. And then he said, well, Pam, honey, I would never walk out on your mom. She's a good woman. She has a good guy. Trust me. And after I had that honest talk with him, I don't think he ever really touched those movies again. At least not in my estimation. Not when I was in the house. But he stuck to his commitment to my mother, and they were married in 1964, and he passed in 2009, and my mom in 2013. And she never got over the loss of her husband, so they love each other eternally. And I have learned the valuable lesson of unconditional love. But sometimes a relative may need that extra stimuli to get their libido up. But to me, it still feels like a bit of a disloyalty to a parent, another relative. And getting back to Linda Tripp for a second. The woman was in politics for a long time, and I think she left politics in 2001. And then today I find out that she was on her deathbed, and the daughter knew that Mama was getting ready to die. And I read the article, and it said that she was a whistleblower to bring out Bill Clinton's transgressions against his own wife. He was banging Monica Lewinsky while in public office. And when somebody dies, you have to show respect for a human life. No matter how wretched some people may think it is. But in Trump's case, there is no such thing as morality. They don't know the meaning of respect of somebody who died. We're going to get into that in another section in this video. But these Trump humpers were saying, I'm glad the woman's dead. They were saying things like, couldn't happen to a more mannish person. And I was reading a ton of comments. I couldn't even tell you what all they said. It was just, saying good. I'm glad she's dead and all that kind of shit. And I said, some of the comments on here are just shocking to me. And I said, the woman died. And I said, what are you, some Trump humpers? I said, a woman died. And I said my condolences to the daughter. And somebody remarked to me, bitch, be gone. And when you tell me that, I go postal. And I said, you know what? I said, at least I know what commitment is. If you marry somebody that you claim to love, you marry them for life. If you're thinking about stepping out on your love of your life, then you get out that door and you keep on walking. And I made the mention about what I said to my dad. So I don't play when it comes to matters of commitment. And it took a woman to out a guy for transgressions against his own wife, Hillary. So I don't play. And to Linda Tripp's family, I'm sorry that you have to deal with idiots like some of these people that think that somebody dying from pancreatic cancer is a good thing. No. Dying from any cancer at all, it sucks. But I think people that show joy in somebody's death like that must share the same moral compass as President Donald J. Trump. And I'm not going to show any sympathy for that guy. And then some of you will probably say, well, what's wrong with you? I said absolutely nothing. But I'm not going to mourn a guy who practiced every day of his life and became very good at hating other people. And it showed no ounce of morality, unless it was somebody that was modeled after him. Case in point, the PM of England over there, that's in quarantine and in ICU. So, millions of other people have died from this COVID thing, right? We're going to move on. Millions of people have died from this COVID-19 pandemic. And I can't tell you how many have died on our shores as of today, because I've got the TV off. I've kept it off. And I'm not about to turn it on until late this evening. Because I was up almost all night doing computer and watching the weather forecasts. And I was up till 5 o'clock this morning. So, yeah. But people in the age of Donald Trump, people in this day and age have certainly lost their morality code. And I'm glad I'm basically an independent, because I only show respect where respect is given. And if it's not given to me, I'm definitely going to boot you out of my airspace, because nobody asked to get cancer. Nobody asked to be dealing with a egomaniac in the public office that could give two shits about the rest of America. But he gives plenty of support to Boris Johnson. Still don't see something wrong there? And you know that Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, is a Trump model wannabe. Says a lot about his moral compass, huh? And people are angry with Boris Johnson. Hey, he'll be dead anyway. People that don't show respect to other people don't get it from me. Especially when a couple of Trump tards are showing joy over a woman's death at 70 years old to pancreatic cancer. And I don't play that shit. I don't keep friendships with people like that. You can't show a good, decent amount of respect for a woman that lost her mom. Come on. And I want to say to Linda Tripp's daughter and family members, I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to deal with the loss of mom, a loss of a relative that may be a grandma or an aunt to somebody in that family. And then you have to deal with the idiots that are sharing joy on your mother's death. Come on. That's like saying that they were at the Twin Towers the day the towers had fallen, and they saw everybody celebrating. And it's like people that do that shit, that show joy when they hear about somebody that blew the lid off of what Bill Clinton was doing and got his ass impeached for him flanking around with Monica Lewinsky. I'm gonna hate on that bitch because she put Clinton out of office. And when I made the mention about the snide comments on Linda Tripp's death, one of my former friends says, "Stifoo, bitch," or "bitch be gone." And that's when I unloaded on her. And I said, at least I know what commitment is. When you marry somebody, especially if they're good, If you marry somebody, you stay with them for life. You don't ever have one thought of leaving somebody for another man or another woman. In other words, don't put your oaths in somebody else that you are not committed to. And too bad people like that didn't learn that from their parents. They probably learned it from Trump's nasty ass, stink ass example. And after I made my comment, and I said, a woman dies and you show joy, right? And I said, you must be Trump followers, and, you guys must be Trump followers. And that's when I ended it. I just said I had enough. And I went to the person's page that told me to that told me the following: "Bitch, be gone." When I scolded them on their rather happy tone in their comments about Linda Tripp's death. I blocked the little whoremonger. She's probably not even from America. The one that told me, "Bitch, be gone." So I blocked him. I'm not going to play that shit. And I'll be just like them when Trump dies, because he hasn't shown 1 ounce of respect for you. He hasn't shown 1 ounce of respect for us. He hasn't shown respect for anybody, not even his own wife. Oh, I could grab him by the pussy, he says. I could shoot somebody on 5th Avenue, he says. Get the fuck out of my zone, man. But as I close this video out, I said on my page, let me see if I can pull it up here. Let's see. On my internet here. So I dropped it down, I dropped one person. And I said over an hour ago, just heard the news that Linda Tripp had passed away from cancer. Some people took joy in her passing, all because she got Clinton outed for lying about Monica. Someone on my friends list just got thrown off because I told her that she was a Trump follower that was just pissed that old Bill got caught. The response from the person I touched was, "Bitch, be gone." I then responded, "I know what commitment is. You marry one and no one else." I once told my old man that if he ever thought about walking out on my mom for another woman, to keep going if he were to leave. The person that downed me is just pissed that Bill Clinton got caught boinking some broad. And I ended my commentary, "Rest in peace, Linda. You're in a better place than on this blood-soaked earth." And I literally laid it down right there, and I shared a Google search on Linda Tripp. Because at first I thought it was COVID that she had died from, but the search was she died on April 8th of 2020 from pancreatic cancer. So I got the most current information. And people are mad that she had outed Bill Clinton for his transgressions. And I'll even share an article here from the Post. And let's see what it says here, if I can get it to work. And it says, let me see if I can turn off the sound on this. God damn it, come on. Let's see. Linda Tripp, whose tapes led to Bill Clinton's impeachment, is dead at 70. Let's see. It says here from the Washington Post, Linda Tripp, whose secret conversations with former White House intern Monica Lewinsky led to the impeachment of President Bill Clinton in 1998, died today, her son-in-law told the Post. She died at 70. And Tripp had been seriously ill and on her deathbed on Tuesday night, according to a Facebook posting by her daughter. And she says, "My mommy is leaving the earth. I don't know myself if I can survive the heartache. Please pray for a painless process for the strongest woman I will ever know in my entire lifetime." Her name is Allison Tripp Foley, posted on Facebook late on Tuesday, adding that she was at her 70-year-old mother's bedside. Her profile was later made private. Tripp's son-in-law, Thomas Foley, told the Post today that she had passed. Her illness was unrelated to coronavirus. Quote, "Look, it's hard to talk right now. Linda has passed on," Foley had said. "She fought as hard as she could. We just had to let all the grandkids know it was so sudden. I know the press will focus on the other stuff, but she was a special person and a fantastic grandparent that was devoted to family," Foley added. People forget that part. And it says here, her son-in-law, Thomas Foley, had said that he was unable to share any info about her condition. Lewinsky expressed concern for Tripp and her family. Monica says, "No matter the past, upon hearing about Linda Tripp being seriously ill, I hope for her recovery. I can't imagine how difficult this is for her family." Lewinsky wrote in a tweet after the news broke that she was dying. Tripp, who had been called a whistleblower for revealing the relations between Clinton and Lewinsky, defended herself against the allegations in 2018, saying she regretted for not having the guts to do it sooner. "It was always about right and wrong, never left or right," Tripp had told the Washington Post in an interview. "It was about exposing perjury and the obstruction of justice," she continued. "It was never about politics." Tripp was a civil servant in the Pentagon when she became close to the then 22-year-old Lewinsky, who also worked for Public Affairs Office. Let's see if it says anything. But you know, you could read the whole article for yourself. I gotta look at a message here. Nope. Just junk mail. Let's see. Yeah. But yeah, Linda Tripp has died. Let me read a little bit more of this article before I get off. As we all know, Linda Tripp had their conversations. During their conversations, Monica revealed that she had a physical relationship with Clinton when she was a White House intern, and Tripp began to secretly record those talks. Tripp also encouraged Lewinsky to document their relationship with the president. Tripp turned the tapes over to then independent counsel Kenneth Starr in exchange for immunity from illegal wiretapping charges. She also told Starr about a key piece of evidence: the semen-stained navy blue dress Lewinsky said she wore during a sexual act. Lewinsky had shown Tripp the dress and encouraged her to keep it and not have it dry cleaned. Using the information on Tripp's recordings, Starr got approval from the then Attorney General, Janet Reno, and a special court overseeing the independent counsel to expand that investigation into the relationship between Monica and the president. Tripp also turned the tapes over to attorneys in Paula Jones' sexual harassment case against Bill Clinton. Lewinsky's conversation had laid the groundwork for the perjury charges against Bill Clinton, who had denied the affair. He was the one who said, "I did not have sexual relationship with that woman." But it says here he was impeached by the House in December of 1998, but was acquitted by the Senate in 1999. So, yeah. And people are mad at Linda Tripp for trying to do the right thing and blow the whistle off of not only the sheer brazen attempt of what he did. It's not her fault. She had a good case of morality. And people are mad at Linda for it. And they are showing their joy in the woman's death. And it sucks. But this is the Trump era that we are living in. So, I only stand by people who have a good case of morality. So, I guess it can be said that if Trump were to die, don't expect me to cry about somebody who made it a point of being very nasty and self-serving only for himself and not for helping other people. That's what the presidency is about. Protecting and taking care of the American people and helping our dignitaries when needed. But then again, I don't know anything about morality. I don't know anything about what it's like to be a good, caring person. Apparently, you have the right to rub salt in the wounds of somebody who lost their mother. And when somebody told me, bitch, be gone, I laid down a serious hammer on the bitch who did that, and then I removed her from my Facebook. I don't have time to deal with brown nosers that suck Trump's dick. Ain't gonna happen. Well, I said what I said on this shit. And to those that seek joy in the death of Linda Tripp, may you never get cancer. It doesn't just affect the patient. It affects the whole family. I ought to know. I lost my mom, my cousin Sue, and let's see, who else did I lose from cancer? My aunt, let's see, I lost my mom, my cousin Sue, my uncle Phil to cancer, and let's see, who else? My brother had stage 1 kidney. So you don't think I don't know that cancer hurts the family as well as the patient? Get a life. But to the Tripp family, I'm sorry that you have to deal with the good along with the bad. You have to deal with the bad along with the good is what I'm trying to say. But take heart that your mom is not on this crappy, blood-soaked earth anymore. She doesn't have to see how far down our country has gotten in terms of a moral compass. And to the Trump humpers, don't expect me to feel sorry for your President Trump when he passes, 'cause I'm not. I don't feel sorry for anybody that doesn't have an ounce of morality. Just like Bill Clinton got caught in his lie, Trump will certainly pay for his. If not in this life, it'll be in the other. Think about it. Or don't you guys ever think about anything? I'm done for the night, and I'll get back on sometime this weekend. Stay safe, take care of your family, and for God's sake, some of you Trump humpers need to get a heart as well as a backbone. If not, that's the America that is screwed. The heart and backbone of this country is dying every day. And somebody pissing on the death of Linda Tripp only confirms my suspicions that Trump, the pathological virus, has hit another person yet again. So you could take your butt-hurt asses out of my airspace if you don't like it that Linda Tripp had a good sense of morality about her and was willing to bring Clinton down for his stabbing his wife in the back, so to speak. So excuse her for giving a shit. But this is Bill Clinton. This was the end of Bill Clinton's presidency. And it should have also spelled the end of Donald Trump's presidency if anybody had a good sense of morality. But hell, I'm not in any branch of the government. I can't do nothing about it. And you know who's going to have to live with their mistakes? The Republicans. In fact, they all do. So excuse me because I have a backbone. But I'm not going to grieve for somebody like Donald Trump that could give two shits about you or me. Think about it. The only ounce of concern he's shown for anybody was for that UK Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, a modeled after Trump wannabe. Think about it. And to the Tripp family, my condolences. I am sorry. But you'll get through this. Take all the time you need. I've been through it with my mom. I've been through it with my cousin. I've been through it with other family members. I know what it feels like. And damn those who bring joy to her death. The only thing joyful that I could find out about it is that she's out of pain and she's no longer on this dying planet that we live on. So think about it. But then again, the Trump followers don't think about nothing. Don't expect me to feel sorry for you when you die, you Trump humpers. I'm sick of all of you. Good night. Have a good weekend, and I'll get back on sometime this weekend if I can. I'm out of here, ladies and gents.